Some people have been asking me questions about the World Bank Lab, so here is a walkthrough. Here I am at the course webpage. So I'll go to the data wrangling unit, and I will go to the instructions for World Bank. Actually, I'm just going to grab the data here. Well, I'll go. So here's the data. Click on that sucker. I'm going to download it. And there it is, downloaded behind my can't see it because of this thing. There it is. All right. So I will open it in Excel. Good times. So the idea here is to step through a series of sort of a hierarchy of stuff, right? So first enable editing. And so the first thing is topics. So I have to pick one of these topics, and I will choose resolving insolvency because insolvency is always close to your mind when you are an adjunct. So then I go to best series, and I'm going to filter. So I go over here to filter, and I'm going to only look at topics that fall into the best resolving insolvency. So if I just uncheck this right now, then it would be the only one I couldn't see. What I want to do is uncheck everything, and then check resolving insolvency. So here's resolving insolvency, and this one looks like it's pretty easy to understand. Time years, so how long it takes to resolve insolvency. So I will pick that. So time years, or resolve.insolvency.durations.years. So I'll go to best data. I will go, once again, I'm going to filter. And I'm going to filter so that I am looking for time years. Let's see if that's the right one. It is. Sweet. Is there anything else here? Let's see if there's any other topics. Nope. Okay. So these are my data. Now see, I'm in column D. So I want all these data. So I'm going to make a new sheet. Move down to the end here. I'm going to do this lab work. Probably I should make that a Google Sheet so y'all can see it. I'm not going to. So I'm going to take my filter data. I did the Control Shift down and Control Shift right to get there, to select everything, and copied it, and pasting. So there are all my data. And now I'm going to view, freeze panes, freeze top row. So now I can see all the column headings. And there's 37 or so lines of data. Outstanding. So the next thing I'm going to do is save. Now I have it. That's the save icon. So I just saved, replacing the thing I downloaded. So this isn't actually in my stats folder yet, but that's okay. All right. So here we have all the data. What I want to do now is compute quantiles for each of these years. So first, in column E, I'm going to write proportion. Each quantile corresponds to proportion, so there's 0.05, 0.25, 0.5, 0.7, I can type really, 0.75, 0.95. Those are the proportions I'm going to look at. So the three quartiles plus things that are close to 0 and close to 1. And then what I'm going to actually end up doing is I'm going to be creating the chart with this region of the worksheet, and the column headings are going to be here, and then the data are actually going to be here. So normally we have tall data. We're going to have wide data today, just because it's easier with this layout. So the x-axis is going to be year. So I'll call it year. And then the labels for each of these are going to be built from these proportions. Let me make this a little wider. I'm not going to maybe I'll have it. There we go. So this first one, the proportion, we want to say fifth percentile. So the way we do that, so if we just did fifth percentile and then filled down, it would say fifth percentile in each one. or 6, 7. It did a little bit of inference, but it didn't figure it out. That's kind of cool, actually. I didn't know it did that. So we're going to be a little bit cleverer here. We're going to calculate this number 5 from our proportions over here. So I'm going to say equals 100 times E41. And enter. What did I do wrong? Interesting. Oh, it's not 100, it's not 41, it's like 241. I just can't see because my stupid screen capture thing is drawing like this dotted line on the left-hand side of the screen. Silly old me. So I will do equals 100 times, and then I will click on this, 141. There we go. And percentile. Great. So that did 5th percentile. Now if I magic fill down, it'll be 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, etc. Boom. Great. So I just did a bunch of stuff. So I save. Now we're going to compute these values. So the year is easy. It's going to be equals G. Oh my goodness, I can't type. What is going on here? There we go. G1. Great. Now the 5th percentile, we're going to use equals percentile. Let's see. We'll do percentile inclusive. Tab. So the array I want is G2 through G137. See, that's what I want. However, here's the trick here. I'm going to fill this down, and when I fill this down for each of the other percentiles, the way it's written right now, this blue bit will continually fill down. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dollar signs here because the data are always in rows 2 through 137. So now as I fill down, it'll always stay there. But the G has no dollar sign, so I fill across, and it can still capture what I need. It'll move to the next column. So then the next argument is going to be what proportion. So that's going to be E41. But this time I want a dollar sign in front of the E, not 41, 141. We want that dollar sign here so that it always stays in E even as we fill across. But the row doesn't have a dollar sign because as we fill down, we want the row to change. So we hit enter. So like, for example, copy this, paste it here, double click in here. So the blue moved to the side because G changed to H, which is allowed to because there's no dollar sign, but the 2 and the 137 didn't change even though I went down a row. Here, the E stayed the same because I didn't allow it to change even though I moved over a column, and the 141 changed to 142 because I moved down a row because it wasn't a dollar sign. So that's exactly what we want. So I can magic fill these down, and those are all of our proportions, and then percentiles, and then I can fill these all the way across. So this fat white cursor, that's for selecting. This crosshairs cursor is for moving things around. And this thin black cursor is for moving things across. So there's my proportions. Then to make a graph of this, I select these. So this is what I was talking about, the Y data. So each row is going to be a variable. So insert. Actually, I probably should say it first, right? Good. And then we're going to do a scatter plot with straight lines, just like that. Oh, I know what I need to do. Escape. Watch. I'm going to delete this here. And this will make Excel be less stupid. Or not? I do not know why that is. 2's 0 through, so 1 through 18 instead of 2004 through 2020. I don't really care. So we'll add chart element, axis titles, primary horizontal, axis titles, primary vertical, get rid of the chart title. Good. Now, so this is years to resolve insolvency. And this is going to be years since 2003. There we go. I don't know why it doesn't show it, but anyway. So now we can look in this and so in this case, taking more years to resolve insolvency is probably less business friendly. So we see the very worst countries are getting a little better, and the very best countries are staying around 1 year, which is probably the lowest you can get. It does appear to be the lowest value in this table. So there we have the graph, and you can throw that in a document, talk a little bit why you picked the variable you picked, and write out that verbal thing describing how things have changed. So it looks like these, most of the countries have stayed about the same, maybe gotten a little bit better. The worst countries have shown more improvement, but not consistent improvement, and so on and so forth. All right, that is my walkthrough for the World Bank Lab. Enjoy.